All right, welcome back to It's Time Picks. We've got UFC Fight Night, Fiziev versus Gamrot. This is coming off of last week's Shevchenko and Grasso bout that ended in a unfortunate draw. A lot of people aren't very happy about it, me included. A 10-8 round in round five. I mean, it tells
That was
you
terrible.
if Vegas is being ordered to attend 5-8 class or 10-8 classes, that tells you that they got something wrong and that Shevchenko should have the belt. But here we are. Card we got coming up now. It's got some good fights on it. There should be a handful of finishes, potentially a few boring fights, but
hmm
overall, it's a pretty good card. How do you feel about it?
For after this card is gonna be a break off, like a 1 week break off, but it's a decent card. I wish they had more than 11 fight. I was hoping like 12 or 13, but hopefully they stop at all this 11 fight bullshit and just go back to the 12, 13 fights. And all right, let's get this Jimmy started.
All right. I think it's because a couple of fights dropped out.
Yeah, I saw Basharat dropped out. I forget who else dropped out.
That's because Henry withdrew. But all right, we'll just jump right into it. First fight, we've got the debuting Montserrat Rendon against Tamiris Vidal. And if Vidal fights anything like she did against Ramona Pascal, she is going to absolutely shell Rendon. Um, I'm not really sure why Rendon's getting the opportunity here. I tried to figure it out. She's had 5 fights. They've all gone to decision. She's done nothing special. She's had no special finish. She's had nothing. So I'm not really sure where it's coming from, but Vidal should have this fight. It should be relatively easy.
Easy. So pretty much what you said, Vidal should win this easy. Is it a finish? Is it a good decent score decision? It could be one of those. Um, yeah, I'm kind of shocked Rendon's finally making her debut at 34, which that's not a spring chicken for female fighters. But you've seen female fighters almost go to fight till 40. But just go back to record, she really don't got the best record either. It's all decisions. She went to a split decision with a 5-5 fighter,
And she
which
also lost to Juliana Miller grappling, so I don't trust her anywhere in this fight.
no. And primarily she's a grappler who's a flat-footed striker. And you know what that means for Vidal? She's gonna use them soccer freaking leg kicks, kick the living shit out of her leg until it goes numb. Probably go for the takedown, even though her takedowns aren't the greatest, but she can be 60 to 70% herself in this fight and still win this fight. But
I think Vidal just goes and knocks her ass out in the first round.
I hope
Like,
so.
like this could be one of those fights where we could see a quick win bonus from a female.
But I hope so. But like I said, I don't think neither one of us had necessarily the best luck on the first fight. We play it, they score like shit. We don't play it, they break the goddamn slate. And
But I mean, Vidal's going to win this fight. She is
yes,
expensive.
it's
Um, I mean, I guess at 9,000, it's really not that bad. I would take her
hmm,
over Rodriguez and Mizuki both.
I'll
So,
take her over. Honestly, we'll get to that fight, but I have another fighter she'll go over. I like.
so both of us going with Tamiris Vidal. Next up, we have Mizuki Inoue going against Hannah Goldie. And where are you at on this one?
I'm on Mizuki. Outside the UFC, she did fight some good competition outside the UFC. Fighters that were ranked in the top 15 in both divisions, up and down. She wasn't a layoff. She's primarily a grappler, but she has good volume, striking. First off, I want to see if Hannah Goldie can actually make 115. That's the big one question because she was already muscular as hell for 125. Now she's going down to 15. I almost thought about, okay, can Mizuki get a finish on Goldie? Goldie's not really special anywhere. If she's not the bully, you can easily beat a hammer because she's a terrible nail. I'm definitely going Mizuki to win, but with her layoff, who knows what version of her is going to show up. And there's random times that Hannah Goldie does just make fights boring. But I'm on Mizuki.
Yeah, it's kind of like the safe option, but either fighter that you take, I don't see a high score coming out of this fight.
No.
That said, to your point of her making 115, she's done it before. She did against Diana Belbita not that long ago. Um, but I don't trust either fighter in this one. I have Mizuki winning, but if you go and look at her fight against Lemos, okay, it's Lemos, it's whatever, she got her ass handed to her. But then you go to the fight against Yanin, she theoretically lost that fight. She
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have won. I don't know how they gave it to her. But she won a split decision in that fight, getting outvolumed by almost 30 strikes. Um, and Hannah Goldie, we have seen her do some decent things. They've all been against low level fighters. Anytime she's gone against somebody that's higher level, she kind of gets tossed around and she looks clueless. So it's a really tough call. I like I said, I'm going with Mizuki, but I wouldn't be surprised if Goldie won this fight.
She might be a decent pump play if you don't like many dogs and you got to try to get the favorites. She might be one of the decent plays as long as she doesn't get finished.
Yeah, I mean, it could be one of those things where Goldie somehow gets her to the mat and she submits her.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I think I saw somebody told me that apparently Goldie's been working with Jillian Robertson.
that will definitely help her.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best grapplers in women's UFC. But both of us going with Mizuki.
And
Next up,
OnlyFans.
yeah. Next up, we have a heavyweight fight with Jake Collier taking on the short notice Mohammed Usman, brother to Kamaru Usman. And I at the beginning of the week I was on Usman because his fight against who the hell was it?
It was Junior Tafa.
Yeah, Tafa. He laid on it for 12 minutes. That's how he won that fight. He had
Oh, I
12
know.
minutes of control time. And and then I when I went and did my research and whatever, Collier has lost three in a row. Um, he arguably won the fight against Arlovsky, so I'm not
Yep.
gonna take that against him. You could have argued that he beat Martin Boudet,
Which I
and
thought he did.
that was really close. And then he was winning the Barnett fight until he just happened to get knocked out. And his chin will always be, a concern. Tom Aspinall put him out immediately, but um, I think he's the better fighter everywhere in this fight. I don't know why Usman is such a big favorite against him, especially with him coming in short notice. Um, and so long as Collier avoids getting knocked out, he's going to win this fight. He's the better wrestler. Usman's not going to be able to keep him on the ground. I don't see Usman winning this fight, and Collier is probably my favorite dog on the card.
So I've been on the Usman train for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have a feeling when I see these type of matchups stylistically, to me it looks like they're trying to build up another heavyweight. Is he the best? Hell no. But he has good athletic power. If he actually let his hands go more, I think he could knock out Collier with no problem if he actually pressured him.
But he won't.
No. But because he thinks that he's his brother, and I'm gonna close the distance, I'm gonna clinch, I'm gonna try to take you down. I think he went like 2 for 14 or 2 for 15 against Tafa. And I'm sorry, I don't see him taking down Collier. I'll be shocked. Could he clip Collier? Absolutely. Collier's chin, is iffy nowadays, but I almost picked Collier in this fight. I was about itty bitty little close actually picking him, but I just think the UFC are gonna try to keep trying to build up Usman a little bit.
He's got to throw more than one significant strike a
I
minute.
know.
I mean, that's where it's at.
But to me, if I'm picking Usman, I'm not picking him for DFS. None against 8,400. If I prefer Usman as a dog money for DFS. So if I'm going on the other hand, Collier is a good dog. I like it. I might even put Collier as one of my dogs in my line. But I just have a feeling that two things. One, they might want to try to build up Usman because go get Collier's almost on his way out. But the only other thing I don't like, the judges don't like him. I don't know why. It's not like he's a boring fighter. The judges do not like him for shit. Like I said, Arlovsky. I thought he beat Arlovsky.
The fight against Felipe, he won that fight. They gave it to Felipe.
I just don't know what the judges have against him. He's not a boring
Well,
fighter by any means.
no, he's quick. He's quick for a heavyweight.
Yeah,
He's got a
former
little power.
85er
He knows how to grapple. So I
when
don't
he
know
uses it.
when he uses it. Which I mean, if he's smart, he's going to use it in this one.
Oh, I would.
But all right, well, we are split on that one. I'm going with Jake Collier. You've got Muhammad Usman. Next up, we have Jacob Malkoun against Cody Brundage.
We
And man,
probably don't need to be there.
the last time we saw Brundage, he looked like a fucking sack of potatoes. He was absolutely terrible. He got beat by
Then
Cedric
Duma.
Dumas, and he looked pitiful. He did not do a single damn thing. He was there to collect his $500 or whatever it was for fighting short notice, and he went on his merry way. So, who do you got in this one?
Do I really need to say it?
Nope, because both of us are going with Jacob Malkoun. I don't trust Brundage at all.
Look,
And
you know what put the icing on the cake for me? None against Dumas. Yes, Dumas did look better, since Josh Frem absolutely mollywopped him. But when you're getting out wrestled by Cedric Dumas, I'm sorry. I know Brundage grew up as a wrestler, credential wise wrestler, and you're just getting out wrestled, out controlled by someone that has a little bit of wrestling. But I don't like that because I'll say this right now. People are thinking, oh, maybe Malcolm gets a finish. Okay, maybe he does. But
I hope he doesn't.
I hope he doesn't either because I think he can absolutely break the slate. And
Like
even
10
with short notice,
takedowns.
I'll tell you right now, let's say Brunage is live round one. That's the only chance he really has. Round one, because you've seen how Malkoun can get hit in the chin and against Phil Halls, he went to sleep real quick. Let's say Brunage has a decent round one. I don't care. I think there's a chance Malkoun between rounds 2 and 3 could more than likely rack up between like 4 to 7 takedowns just in between those 2 rounds. No, if I'm going just round 2 and 3, but if I'm going, if I'm how I'm thinking, I hope there's no finish. I hope he gets between 7 to 9, and he absolutely he's my favorite play. I hate to say it. Usually, I don't try to go up to the 9,500 tag because I'm always like, how the fuck he's gonna pay for it? I'm honestly thinking this slate could be somewhat low scoring, so that 9,500, the other 9K options, I'm not too much really in the mix for. So Malkoun is definitely my favorite play, and he should absolutely crush value.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, in the last 4 fights, he's gone 3-1. He's had 8, 6, 7, and 9 takedowns. And the fight where he had 7, that was against Brendan Allen. So
Oh,
that really tells you all you need to know.
so you don't know something? So out of all the takedowns you just said, I did some math. He out of all those fights, even with the loss with Allen, and Matt, I'm not gonna count the Halls one because he really didn't get no stats. He has almost 40 minutes of control time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's why he just puts people on the mat. He just suffocates them.
And when I first heard of Malkoun, I didn't do much look into him because he made his short nose debut against Halls. I'm
Yeah,
like,
because he got
okay,
knocked out
yeah.
immediately.
I didn't know much about him, but I heard, oh, he's a training partner of Bobby Whitaker, or yeah, Bobby Knuckles. I'm like, okay, then he's probably a striker. And then he comes back his first fight against Al Hassan and makes Al Hassan look like an amateur.
Yep.
I'm like, Jesus.
Then he took your boy AJ Dobson to the clinic.
Hey man, leave AJ alone. He's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
He's exciting.
But yeah, so both those going Malkoun, he should absolutely smash the slate. It's you don't want to say it's a cakewalk or it's easy money.
No.
I mean, it's easy money. Brundage, you can't trust at all. There's nothing to him. There's no
If
cardio. He's short notice again.
if
It's
Brunage is getting taken down at will against Dumas,
it's
that's all
gonna
I need
be
to say.
it's gonna be ugly. And I'm sure Malkoun will finish him at some point. It'll
I
probably
hope
be a
not.
first or second round
I hope
submission.
it's a third round. Fucking just mollywopping him. He just gets gassed out and just.
I hope it's the end of the second round because you still get 70 for the quick for the second
Mhm.
round bonus. And by that point, he could already have 6, 7, 8 takedowns. You're looking at 130 points.
Either way, lock him in.
Agreed. Both of us going with Malkoun. Next up, we got Tim Means and Andre Fiallo. And I've been on Means so much. I almost always take him. I wanted to take him again, but he's now 39. He doesn't look bad in his fights, but it is wearing on him. His chin is definitely getting hit. And in this case, Fiallo has lost 3 in a row. He's probably pissed off, and he still packs a punch. I've got Fiallo by first or second round knockout.
I almost wanted to go Means too. Like he was looking so good against Morono, and then he just left his neck. Um, yes, Means is 39, and the only thing about this matchup I hate for Means, and that's why I didn't go with him. He has that tall man syndrome. Leaves his chin up, hands down, and you do it against Fiallo. And I know Tim Means hasn't got knocked out in a while, but it just takes one clean shot.
Well, the way that I saw it is it's going to be very similar to that Cameron Van Camp fight,
Yep.
where Van Camp was in it until he wasn't. Because he left his chin right there, Fiallo's would just landed square, and it was good night.
And what I said about, Vidal, was it Vidal? The first fight? Yeah.
Hmm.
I said it's gonna be probably between my line between her and Fiallo. So I'm trying to go back and forth between them because I'm definitely going Malkoun. And then if I don't go, I might do ownership because I don't know. I think Fiallo is probably gonna get more ownership. Vidal is probably gonna get like mid to low 20s, if that.
Probably Fiallo probably be in the 30s.
So I might
But
try to look what I can do on my line.
on the other side of it, though, I mean, Mean still makes a good GPP play because we've seen
He
Fiallo. If he
wrestled.
doesn't get the knockout, he gets eaten up.
He's been wrestling lately. 7,300 for a guy that's actually going back to his roots.
Yeah, I mean, if he takes Fiallo down, this Means is gonna likely win this fight.
Yeah.
So both of us going with the favorite and Andre Fiallo. Next up, we've got Miles Johns versus Dan Argueta. You going with your boy?
Which one? Argueta?
Argueta?
So I'm on Argueta, but there's two things. I'm trying to get my mindset up right. I'm trying to watch. The
I
one
can.
thing that made me more confident with the pick, I rewatched the Lonnie Lawrence fight. He absolutely mollywopped Lawrence before the ref, called it early. Um, One thing I'll say about Johns, he was a long-time wrestler, but a wrestler that fell in love with his hands. He's really never been tested on the takedowns. So who knows? We'll see if his takedown defense is legit. If it's legit, this fight is going to be a low-scoring decision for somebody. But if it's not legit, I think Argetta could potentially break the goddamn slate with takedowns, control, and who knows, maybe a submission. If he's able to get takedowns, if he's not, like I said, this is a GPP fight for you. This is the GPP fight that I'm currently trying to make my mind up on. I currently don't got Argetta in, but if I can move things around, I may get him in. Because, like I said, either boring, low scoring decision or Argetta breaks the slate next to Malkoun.
My article.
Okay.
I have Argueta as one of my favorite plays on the slate. And because John's takedown defense has not been tested, I fully expect it to get exploited in this fight. You go back and watch what he did to what Argueta did to Ronnie Lawrence in that tiny little bit of time. Johns is getting choked out in this fight. Calling it now. So Argueta, although he leaves a little bit to be desired in the striking, his ground game is insane. And after watching damn near submit Lawrence, I don't think he's going to have any problems in this fight. I think he gets it down quickly, first round, maybe around the 3 minute mark.
If I'm gonna try to rewatch some other fights of Argetta and see how I really feel again, but like I said, I don't. There's some fighters that I don't care who they're fighting. I don't pick against them. I picked Argetta his whole UFC run, and unless something else changes, I'm probably not going to change that. So it's just a decision how I'm going to get him in, especially when there's not many popular dogs you can really get to.
That's fair. So both of us going with the favorite and Dan Argueta.
I'm actually shocked he's the favorite a little bit. I thought he'd be more close to a pick him. Just because the Miles Johns is not bad.
No,
He's not great, but he's not bad.
I was on Johns for that Vince Morales fight, which I mean ended up being right, but it was low scoring and boring as fuck because that's how Johns fights now.
But we knew Morales wasn't going to shoot for takedowns.
Correct. So Next up, we have Ricardo Ramos and Charles Jourdain in what could be potential fight of the night because Charles Jourdain fights with no defense and just leaves it all out there. And Ricardo Ramos has no fight IQ. That's really what swayed me in this one. I don't. If you told me that Ramos's game plan was to come in and immediately shoot for a takedown, I might be more inclined to go with him. But given that Jourdain has grappling and wrestling in his back pocket, he just doesn't use it, and he's leagues better in the striking department. I've got Jourdain all day.
Well, I don't really need to say my breakdown too much.
You're welcome.
But yeah, I was pretty much saying it on paper. If you want to go by full credential, Ramos is the more well-rounded guy. But does he ever use his full well-roundedness? No, not always. He wants to throw wild, fucking stupid shit, which can get him caught. And he's got to be careful with this one because Jourdain, he can be down early, but he wakes up. You're not stopping him if he gets in your face. Like I said, if I knew Ramos was going to wrestle, I would throw a bank on Ramos to win this fight, and I mean bank. But until I actually see him being more consistent, like I said, he has a good UFC record, 7-3. He's not bad. He's still young, everything else, but yeah, I'm going Jourdain. Jourdain, even at his price tag, even if let's say he doesn't get a finish, he's still gonna fight for your money. He can at least get close to what his value is in a decision.
I mean, you look at the fight that he had against Wood, even though he got taken down 5 times, he was in it the entire time.
Yep.
He just, in May, he smacked the shit out of Kron Gracie in his return. And Ramos, he beat Danny Chavez with a lucky spinning back fist. That's one of Jourdain's special things. So I don't see it working in this one.
If he tries to spin on Jourdain, Jourdain's gonna hit him with a counter and knock his ass out.
Probably. Which I think he does anyway. So both of us going with Charles Jourdain. Next up, we got Brian Pooh Bear Battle.
Love the nickname.
And AJ Fletcher. And I already know who you're going with, but give me what you got.
I'll tell you right now, one fight almost made me consider. I watched the Fakardinov fight again. And nothing against
No.
Listen, Fakardinov is one of the better wrestlers at 170. Yes, Fletcher has wrestling in his back pocket, but does he always use it? No. And I think he belongs at 155. I don't think he just wants to cut weight, especially with his T-Rex arms at 170. And I told you how I think this fight's going to go early in the week. I think Fletcher is going to try to close the distance, try to throw bombs, and either Battle is going to clip his ass or Fletcher is going to try to go for a takedown. And with the long limbs of Battle, I think he's going to get his neck. Could be a fucking, like I said, there's a 10-inch reach in this goddamn fight. And I'm like, huh?
Didn't even notice that.
Yeah, 77-inch for Battle, 67 for fucking Fletcher. I actually saw that before you told me to go on. I was like, oh shit. Somebody got the T-Rex arms going. Okay. But that's why I think no matter where the fight goes, I think Battle can win. I think Battle could rock him, finish him. And if Fletcher does come in and try to wrestle like he did against Themba Garambo, I think Battle can get a hold of his neck because he's primarily a grappler.
Fletcher sucks. Let's just be.
He doesn't. No, I don't think he sucks. But whoever is managing,
sucks.
His management team sucks. How the hell are you going to go from Semmelsberger, which I thought he won? Then you give it was closer. I thought you could have gave him I thought he fucking put Semmelsberger on his ass, and he was in that fight. Garambo, I think Garambo was going to grow, but Garambo wasn't ready for that fight. Now you're giving him Battle, who's been on a roll since that 170.
Besides 2 of his last 3 fights. So you take away the Fakardinov fight, and his last 2 fights then are knockouts within the first 30 seconds.
Yep.
And that's what that's how I feel about this fight. I think it could absolutely happen again. Especially with the reach. I already knew that. I mean, I knew he had a reach. I didn't realize it was 10 inches. I didn't look at that.
I didn't either until I said we got on, but I was like, I just like Battle a lot in this fight.
But I mean, Fletcher, he's never been finished, and we could very well see him be finished for the first time in this fight. I don't think much is going to stop Battle outside of guys like Fakardinov because he's just an animal. But yeah, this is, I mean, I don't see a way Fletcher wins this fight. We've seen
Unless
Battle.
he blankets him.
I'm gonna go back. What was the fight before?
For
The
what?
fight against Gilbert Urbina. Because I was on Urbina in that fight.
The tough finale.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that was a hell of a fight. And if you go back and watch it, there was times where Battle was struggling on the mat against Urbina, and he still ended up with a submission. And I mean, it could be very similar to that. I remember that almost perfectly because he pushed him up against the cage and then he took his neck right after it. It could be really similar in this situation. You know, if Fletcher takes him down, I see Battle just moving to the cage and using that reach.
Yep. Like I said, if for GPP, if you're telling me you want to go Fletcher, okay, but you better
No,
just hope. No, the
no.
only thing I say is you better hope his little ass wrestles.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be tough to get him in and Malkoun. That's the problem that I'm having. But all
Uh,
right, both of us going with Pooh Bear.
I'll never go against Pooh Bear. I love Pooh Bear.
Ryan Battle. Next up, we have a rematch with Marina Rodriguez and the Karate Hottie for Michelle Watterson. Now Gomez as well. And I don't know why they made this fight. I couldn't figure it out. I don't think that Marina deserved to be knocked down that far. I mean, yeah, she lost Jandiroba, like I told you she would. And Michelle Watterson lost to Luana Pinheiro. They don't really, I don't know. I couldn't figure it out.
No.
I mean, if you told me Watterson was going to go and try to wrestle for 15 minutes, okay, well, she's probably got a chance, but she's not going to. She's going to stand and strike, and she's going to get outstruck probably twice the amount of.
Perfectly.
I think I just expect this to go pretty much exactly how the first fight went, except this one is 3 rounds instead of 5, which means she's only going to score like 60, 70 points in a win. And at 9,300, that's not worth it.
Mm-mm. Well, you already know who I'm going. I don't, I like Marina's my girl. I don't even need to really break it down to, as you said. Only way she pays that off if somehow she gets a finish, which she has one finish in her UFC career, and none against Karate Hottie. I think maybe they did this for Karate. If this is your last fight, see if you can get your redemption back.
Ooh, man, I don't think so, but it definitely.
I don't either, but
I mean, she's lost 5 of her last 6 fights. Her only win was that split decision against Angela Hill.
which I still don't think she won.
Don't either, but that's neither here nor there. Both of us going with Marina Rodriguez. We are up to the co-main event with Bryce Mitchell and Dan Ige. And is your pick still the same, sir?
Yeah, like none against Bryce. I think after that whole Taporia fight, I thought maybe he would be more humble, but he found excuse after excuse after excuse. And then I know he's been having drama outside the UFC cage. Another thing that actually heard was apparently his ex-girlfriend ruined his fruit garden and he went apeshit over that. And I started pissing myself. But I don't know what he thinks, what some of his mindset is, talking about how Hawaii's disaster was by the government.
He's a conspiracy theorist. I already told you.
I don't know what the hell he's smoking in Arkansas, but
the only conspiracy that he's thrown out there. It's like every time he fights, there's something new.
So one thing I'll say, lately, Ige's been looking good. And he's at a good camp at Extreme Couture. I love fighters that go to a wrestling camp trying to better their ground game, even though he had his own role of wrestling. If Mitchell doesn't get to the ground, I think there's a chance Mitchell gets knocked the fuck out. I really freaking do. Like, his striking sucks. It's basic as shit. He'll come forward. Don't get me wrong. He's a tough little country boy. But you can't just come forward with your guard down and expect to get your straight shots in and try to close the distance. because 50K Ige is gonna throw a bomb and try to connect on your chin. I'm going Ige. And I know a lot of people are probably gonna be on the Mitchell side saying, "Oh no, the Topuria thing was a fluke." Topuria is Topuria. Topuria is a bad.
Taporia
And if
will threaten Volkanovski.
huh?
Taporia will threaten Volkanovski.
And if I'll say right now, not to get off topic, if that EA curse is true, woo, let me find out what Toporia's how big of a dog he's gonna be in that fight.
So I messaged you Wednesday night when I was
Mm-hmm.
doing my article, and I told you that I changed one of my picks and that I was with you. And this is that fight. I I am also on Danny, and there was a lot that went into it. I went back and watched, I don't know, an hour's worth of fights for both of them. And obviously, Bryce Mitchell has a massive grappling edge. I mean, that's undeniable. He's got one of what, three twister submissions in the
Two.
UFC. Um, no, I think it's three now because there was one not that long
I
ago.
thought he had two of them.
Oh,
He
he
might
might
have.
have,
No, I think it was him,
but
Zombie.
he's got one.
One. Okay.
I can't remember the other. Anyways, so I mean, he's a magician on the mat. There's no doubt about it. But the problem comes to where his striking is, which he doesn't really have any. And Tapuria made him look silly on the mat. And Mitchell came out and said he was sick. And if that's the case, okay, it's whatever. But if you look at the string of wins that Mitchell had, it was against Edson Barbosa, who's a kickboxer. Decent takedown defense, nothing great. Andre Feely, who has been
Yeah.
absolutely shit since he started, or since his good run.
Overrated.
He's lost like 3 or 4 of the last 5 fights. Charles Rosa, back in 2020, is
Yeah.
like the starting decline of Rosa. And then before that was the twister against Matt Sales, who's garbage. Bobby Moffett, okay, whatever. Moffett took him down 5 times in that fight before, it went to a decision. And then Tyler Diamond, who was the Ultimate Fighter. So, I mean, theoretically, he hasn't really fought, aside from Taporia, he hasn't fought anybody that's on the level of Ige.
So the Tyler Diamond one, he was actually the favorite to win tough. And he
Yeah.
lost to he didn't end up winning tough, but he ended up losing to some older guy who ended up losing to Brackatona, who's now a 2-time tough winner. But yeah, he ended up catching Tyler Diamond and
That was a
but
majority decision that he shouldn't have won, but that's neither here nor there. Over to the Ige side, everybody kind of wrote him off for a while, and it's because he lost Calvin Kattar. Well, Calvin Kattar is a top 5 fighter. He then went out and knocked out Gavin Tucker in 20 seconds, and then he went on a string of 3 losses. He lost TKZ, and that was back in 2021, where TKZ was still top 10. Josh Emmett, who was climbing, and I don't think he was quite top 10 yet. He may have been top 15, but then he lost
mhm.
Sar Evloev, and he's
He's my
just a
dark horse in the division.
he's a wrestling beast. I would take Evloev over Mitchell any day of the week.
Oh yeah,
I would,
easily.
I might take Evloev over Volkanovski, to be honest.
Evolov. I want to see eventually Evolov versus Taporia.
But then so everybody kind of wrote him off. He lost 4 out of those last 5 fights, and everybody's like, okay, well, Ige lost it. Well, did he? Came out, he knocked Damon Jackson out. That was a good fight. And then his last fight against Nate Landwehr back in June, it was a war, but he looked good. And I
Hmm?
mean, Landwehr, he's not a bad fighter. So, I mean, Ige is just kind of getting back to where he was. He's still only 32 years old. He still packs a huge punch, and he knows, he does have wrestling in his back pocket. And if you told me that he was going to come out and initiate the first takedown, I wouldn't be surprised, because the last thing that he wants to do is have Mitchell on top or in any type of side mount, because that's where he can initiate his triangle or the twister. So I think Ige's corner is going to play this beautifully, and I think he does end up winning this fight.
Give me a high five. That's my boy. Yeah, come on. Yeah,
You're so dumb.
I know I am.
So
That's
both
why
of us going with the dog and Dan Ige.
I love me some Danny guy.
Next up, we have the main event with Rafael Fiziev and Mateusz Gamrot. Both of them coming off of a loss. Fiziev got beat
Hmm.
by Justin Gaethje. Yes, he lost that fight.
No, Fiziev.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. And oh no, Gamrot did have another fight. He beat Jalen Turner.
Which
Um,
he shouldn't have won. I hate to say that he shouldn't have won it. It was
yeah,
Jalen Turner was touching him. Look, I'm a Gamrot
yeah,
guy.
but
Touching him up.
Turner only got him 40, for 40 significant strikes.
He dropped him.
Gamrot had 7 minutes of control time. That's why it was, a split decision. It just goes to whoever likes wrestling more. Is what that came down to. Anyways, I don't think Gamrot has any success getting takedowns in this fight. Um, I think he just gets pieced up for 25 minutes. Problem with this fight is, even though it goes 5 rounds, we could see a really boring, slow play from both of them if there's no ground game. So it's almost pure GPP, but I'm on the favorite.
So this fight could play out. I watched this one other fight. And I was bored. I rewatched this one fight, and it made me think about this main event. Same type of questions, same type of styles. I rewatched Jan versus Marab. I don't know why I watched that. I just put it on because
You're
I
gonna
remember.
compare Fiziev to Jan right now?
No, what I'm saying is striker versus wrestler. Yes, Fiziev striking is good, but not in the style of Jan. Even though I think they both train together in Tiger Strowman. But the style of Gamrot, he's a chain wrestler. Similar-ish to fucking Marab, but Marab's on a whole different level. That's a scary dude. I'll get on
I'll
that.
pause you right there because I know where you're going with it. But RDA is also a chain wrestler, and he was like 2 for 14 in takedowns in that fight.
RDA started as a pure grappler though, and then he grew into his wrestling.
Doesn't matter. He still turned into a chain wrestler.
I think this is the best wrestler he's ever hit. That if you look at, I think Gamrot's one of the better wrestlers
Whoa,
besides
whoa, 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 whoa!
one
Are you
of
telling me
one
right now
of.
that Gamrot's a better wrestler than Gaethje? You're out of your fucking mind.
He's gonna look. Gaethje doesn't use it though. I'm talking about guys
Doesn't
that actually
matter.
use the wrestling.
He's
They
still a
use it. Look,
wrestler.
if you want to use the wrestling, Islam. There's Armin Sarukian, which he beat Sarukian. Which I think if they rematch that down the road, I think Sarukian's gonna get him back. Gamrot. I'm just saying, like, if Fiziev beats Gamrot, then he's gonna have to run into maybe a Sarukian. He's gonna have, potentially down the road maybe get Islam, and if that happens, Islam's gonna wrestle fuck the living daylight out of him. But I know originally, I know I was on Fiziev early. I gotta go back to my boy Gamrot. I can't. That's just one. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but
Out of your mind.
I just have a feeling that he's gonna look two different styles. If he can't stop the first takedown, this is gonna look like a takedown clinic, like Marab and fucking Peter Yan. Because look, everyone was saying about Peter Yan's takedown defense, and it looked like Marab could have been charged with a damn assault.
Yeah, well, Rob does that to everybody. He would do it to Aljamain if he had the chance, but he doesn't want to fight him.
I don't even know when the hell Marab's even gonna fight. That shit pisses me off.
He should be the one fighting O'Malley, but because he didn't take the fight against Sterling, he's not going to get it.
No, now it's Cheeto and ugh.
She was
If he actually let his hands go, I think he can knock out O'Malley, but that's a whole different category of a talk.
I think you're out of your mind, but we are split on the pick. I'm going with the favorite. You're going with the dog and Gamrot. You're dumb.
No, I'm just saying, bro. Like there is a chance. Look, they had
There's
the
no
same
chance.
questions. Look, I'm just saying they had similar questions about okay, if Jan, everyone was questioning the godness of Jan's takedown defense before that fight. And I believe early he actually stopped a couple takedowns, and everyone was like, oh shit, oh shit. Then Marab did Marab shit and chained like what, like almost like 30 or so takedown attempts in that fucking fight, maybe even more. Because he was on him like flies on shit.
It was a lot.
And when you told me that when I fell asleep and you said, bro, go watch that fight in the morning. I'm like, why? He's like, don't even look at the stats. Go watch the fucking fight.
That was
I watched the fight. I'm like, dude, what the fuck did I just watch?
But no, you can't compare Gamrot and Wallachvili. It's just no. Wallachvili is 10
I want
times
to
the
see.
best.
I want to see if I'm right though. I'm telling you, like stylistically, this is the tough. If Fiziev gets by a guy like Gamrot and stops his takedowns, then okay. But the way that Gaethje got him, I'm not saying Gaethje's a better wrestler because Gaethje is a very good credential wrestler who has not used his wrestling in a long fucking time. That's why I will always say Gaethje is a striker that has wrestling in his back pocket.
Correct.
I'm talking
But
about guys that is primarily a I'm gonna grapple fuck you and I'm gonna take you to the ground. That's what Gamrot tries to do. He will chain and try. Oh, I won't get a double. Okay, I'm gonna switch for a single. I'm not gonna get a single. Okay, I'm
there,
gonna go.
there's a problem with him doing that against
He's gonna get
Fiziev.
hit.
He's going to get kicked because Fiziev is a kickboxer.
I think he's not gonna throw many kicks, bro. I'll
Oh,
tell you. I don't know if
no,
he's gonna throw. I'll tell you right now. I mark my words. I'm gonna try to watch his fight when I'm down in Tampa. If he stops the first two takedowns, Fiziev, I will put money. That's when the kicks come in. I will put this after the first two top takedowns. If he stops the first two, that's when the kicks will come in, and then that's when I'm like, you might be right. But I'm telling you, if he gets these
saying
takedowns,
that after the first 30 seconds because Fiziev's going to throw a knee right in his face.
hey man, Gamrot does get rocked, but he gets the fuck back up though. But one of these days, that's gonna change because everyone's chin does go out.
Yep.
Will it be this fight? I don't know.
That wraps up that. It's probably the most combative we've been on this.
Mhm.
We both are going to lock in Malkoon. That's, we don't really need to say a whole lot about that. But I think Jake Collier is still my favorite dog.
If you want to go by Loxy, we're both saying Malkoon. If I want to go different, I'm probably gonna go Brian Battle. Or if we go different, I already know Malkoon, yes. For you, it's probably gonna be my boy Dan. Especially if you think he gets to a wrestling clinic. My dog, I'm going Ige. 50K Ige.
Pretty easy. If I were to make a bold claim on this one, I'm going to say Vidal knocks Rendon out in the first 60 seconds.
Oh God! If that happens, whew. I think Rendon's trash. I don't even know why. I don't even know if she's a short nosed opponent. That's the crazy thing. I don't even think.
I don't think she was. I tried to find out if anybody had withdrawn
Like
from
usually you can check on
from
topology and check on the bottom, but I didn't see nothing for short notice. So that's why I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But,
Oh, one thing I
was,
did here. So apparently, which I don't understand. So they had the Mexican card last week.
yes.
Rendon's, a Mexican fighter. Originally, I thought maybe they were gonna try to get her on that card, but they're like, no, we want our Mexican fighters to win, so we're gonna put you on this one to probably lose. Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, anyways, so like you said, or we said at the beginning of this is the last card for a week. They take next week off, and then we jump right back into another fight night, which will be Dawson versus Green. There's actually some fights that I'm really interested on this one. You got Joe Pyfer back against Razaka Hassan, Alex Morono's against Buckley, Dover against Ricky Glenn. Alex Hernandez is back fighting Algio.
Ooh.
Oh, Carolina's back on this card as well.
Who
Oh,
is?
and she's got Belbita.
Oh,
That's gonna be a fun one.
do I want to
Montel
go back?
Jackson's fighting on this card.
Is he actually ranked? Because someone tried to tell me he was ranked.
I don't think so. He shouldn't be yet.
He should be. The kid's good, but he only fights once a fucking year. But now he's actually fighting his second fight this year.
Yeah. Demopoulos is on this card.
Who's she fighting?
Murata, Kanako Murata.
Who the hell's that? Let me see what this girl looks like.
Pretty sure she debuted.
If once I see her, I'll probably recognize her.
She debuted June of 2021, so it's been a while since she's fought. One of my favorite dogs is on the card, though.
Don't even tell me. I want to look at the card. I have it up right now.
I don't think he's gonna be a dog in this one. I think he's gonna be a favorite, which kind of sucks.
You talking about Kutalaba?
No, he should be a favorite against Philippe Lins.
I saw that. I was like, as soon as you said should
On
be
the
a favorite,
prelims.
I'm like,
You'll know who it is the second you see it.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, none against Montel. He shouldn't be a favorite against Chris Gutierrez.
No.
Um, oh, Stephanie Eggers on the card. Nate Maness on the card.
Oh,
Damn, he's plus 210.
he is the dog
Yeah,
again.
Nate Maness. Yeah,
All
that
right.
fight should be violence though. That should be a good fight. But damn, none against Mateus. Oh yeah, that's the guy that I think he's one of the shoot the box guys. Let me see. Is he shoot the box? Yup, I thought so. Forgot. He's the motherfucker with blue hair.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up this card. Um, we will be back in 2 weeks. As always, we appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you then.